Yo, guys, what's up? As promised, Brian, Minty, 1 week to the day later after we promised some rockfish, and we are heading out. Couldn't pass up his day. It's absolutely gorgeous. Probably the best day we've had all winter. So, thanks for clicking in. I forgot the flashlight, so we'll see how this ends up as far as light goes at nighttime with the GoPros, but we'll do our best. We got some lights up on the bridge, that kind of thing, but we're about to throw some thingamajigs and some Roy rigs at the Route 90 bridge and see if these rockfish are still around. Looks like it's gonna be a real nice evening, so let's get it. All right, guys, before we get started here, heading to the Route 90 bridge and doing this rockfish, I'm gonna show you guys a knot that I've been working on and using quite a bit lately for this kind of stuff, where we're tying a real thin braid to monofilament or fluorocarbon leader, where we want really little resistance, but we want real strength here. So we've got a nice connection between braid and mono, and that is the FG knot. Probably the strongest, thinnest knot I've found that you can go from braid to monofilament, and here's how it works. So I've got the tension off on my reel over here, so it's nice and tight. And then I'm gonna take maybe 3 or 4 wraps around my pinky finger on my right hand, so that frees up these 3 fingers and my thumb, so I can continue to tie this knot, because it's going to be imperative that I can keep those fingers free. And then here's my fluorocarbon leader. I'm going to lay that over the top, and then I'm going to slowly go underneath to the bottom and underneath to the top. So you can see that underneath the braid to the bottom, underneath the braid to the top. And then I'm going to do that approximately 18 to 20 times total. So under, over, that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 16, 18. That looks good. So you can see there, nice coils going up the line here, braid wrapped around the monofilament. Now I'm going to pinch this in here. I'm going to undo the tension on my finger. I'm going to now run this parallel, and I'm going to do 2 half hitches where the braid goes around both the monofilament and the fluorocarbon, and that's going to tighten that up basically. We're going to tie that off. There's 1 half hitch. There is a 2nd half hitch. Nice and tight, nice and smooth. And now before I cut this monofilament, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a wrap on my braid. I'm going to take a wrap on my fluorocarbon leader, and then I'm going to pull all that tight. You're actually going to, if you do it tight enough, you're actually going to see a change in color of the knot. It's going to get a little bit darker as the braid bites into the monofilament, is what it's actually doing. So loosen this up. That looks good. Wraps look good. Now I can turn this over to the side, perpendicular, and now I can cut this monofilament as close as I can get it to that braid. Really nice and tight, super close. Now I'm going to finish this knot off with a couple of half hitches to close it up. One half hitch, pull that down tight. 2nd half hitch, pull that down tight. And then with this 3rd one, I'm going to try it so it doesn't come loose. I'm going to go around 3 times around that braid. Just call this a triple wrap half hitch. And then you can see, pull that tight. Boom. Really tight knot. And then same thing as the monofilament, I can cut this braid as close as I can get it. There we go. There is your finished FG knot. And now that will slide right through the guides, no problem. Really, really strong. And we're going to catch us some rockfish. Bingo, bango, boom. That's an awesome sound, man. Whenever you hear those engines coming back, it really means that the fishing is just about to start. Same thing here, and this is no secret, right? We're at the Route 90 bridge. There are two spans to the Route 90 bridge. You've got what I call the east span, which is over the bay. You got the west span, which is on the other side of Isle of Wight, which is over the St. Martin's River. You're gonna pass both of these or go over both of these on your way into Ocean City on Route 90. So we are gonna be starting at on the east span of the bridge. We're gonna start over here in about 7 or 8 feet of water. We got an outgoing tide for most of the evening, and we couldn't have asked for a better day. It's early March, man, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It was 60 degrees today during the day. We're still out here just in sweatshirts. The Pure Lure gear is keeping us plenty warm, and I didn't even bring any long johns with me this time. I do have my jacket in case it gets chilly later. We're gonna start over here in this shallower water where it's a little bit warmer. Water temps are in that like 42 to 45 degree range depending on the tide. Water looks pretty good even though we've had some rain over the past couple of days. I'm gonna start with the Roy rig. I've got to start with a Roy rig. Brian's probably, what do you got?
I've got Roy rig. I got tandem Roy rig.
Okay, so he's got tandem Roy rig. That's basically 2 Roy rigs tied together in a little rig. Sometimes up here at Route 90, that can be a little bit more effective. It's kind of like a spec rig almost, where you got 2 lures, one following the other one. Sometimes they like that a little bit, but we could not have asked for a better night. The wind will probably drop out as the evening goes on, and the wind and the tide heads out. There's already a couple of boats up here got the same idea because the weather is absolutely gorgeous for the first part of March, and these fish never left. So we're gonna give it a shot here. There's been a couple of keepers too, man. I don't want to jinx us and say we won't catch a keeper, but there's been some fishing at 28 to 31 inch size limit. So if we catch one of those, that's going in this cooler where all those yellow perch were last weekend. So sit back, relax. If you're in your office right now in Severna Park or Baltimore or Pennsylvania or something like that, and you're living vicariously through Brian, Minty, and me, well, you're welcome. And if you're doing something important for the world, thank you too. All right, stick around. We appreciate you. You appreciate us. Let's get it.
Do it.
All right, as we get started here, Brian and I are really concentrating on a slow retrieve. We're trying to get it as close to the structure as possible, as close to the bottom as possible, and by as slowly as possible without getting it snagged. These fish are really, really lethargic this time of the year, but they got to eat, right? So in order to do that, they're hugging the bottom, they're hugging the structure, and the way we're going to get our bites more consistently is if we get the presentation very slow in those spots. So we're going to start throwing as close to the bridge as we can, letting it get down to the bottom as close as we can let it get, and then we're going to retrieve it very, very slowly. When you think you're doing it slow enough, slow it down just a little bit more, and that's probably the right zone for it. Do you Roy rig, baby? All right, update number 1, take 2. So we've been fishing maybe, I don't know, an hour, 1 bite, 0 fish so far, but we had a feeling it might be a little bit slow because most of the bite seems to be happening at night underneath the lights. So we're gonna get the lights going. Got a beautiful sunset happening over here in the west. We are not discouraged at all. We are encouraged by what's going to happen, and we'll see what happens. But wind should hopefully be dying down a little bit. It's been blowing a little bit heavier than we expected this afternoon. It said light and variable, and it's been a good 10 knots or so out of the south. So hopefully when the sun goes down, that calms down. The lights of the bridge are going to come on, and then we'll see what we can do. Hopefully the bite picks up. But so far, 1 bite, 0 fish, but plenty of encouragement, right?
Absolutely.
I think so too.
Yep.
All right, folks, so listen, this is about as much light as you're going to get tonight. So here's the deal. We just got to the conditions where we think we might start catching. So thanks for sticking around for the couple of minutes it took us. Sorry about dealing with the light issue we've got, all right? We're on a low budget here. That's how this works. And if we don't catch anything, you're not going to see this anyway, so what difference does it make? But I think you're going to. So here we go. Swimming at me. I don't think you can see on this GoPro. We didn't get skunked, Brian.
Attaboy.
It's too dark to see anything on that GoPro, but we didn't get skunked.
Does this help at all? About some time. Does this help?
If you don't, can you take a picture though, please?
Yeah.
Get a little social media.
Yeah, that's good. Thanks.
Yeah, good enough. Thanks, bro. Well, you can certainly see the lights of the Ocean Pines Yacht Club. You can't see this brother's face.
Nope.
Yeah, right. Okay, so it is what it is. We caught a couple fish. Still throwing this video out there just because I document stuff and I throw it out there, Brian.
You got to do it.
Win, lose, light or not. So that's what we did, man. We caught a couple fish. I'm gonna get in some light and tell you a little bit more about it before we say see you. It's dark, bro. Yeah, there we are.
Better.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, GoPros don't do well on low light. I ordered a light for this thing, and it obviously didn't get here in time. So you guys get to hear me catching a rockfish. We caught one more fish after that, but obviously the light, it plays a real important part. If it had gotten better, if the fishing had gotten better, we would have figured something out, flashlight, phone light, something like that, but we did not. So anyway, there's another video for you.
It's a good night.
Here on the Fishing OC Deadly Tackle channel on YouTube. But it's a beautiful night, man. Absolutely gorgeous. The wind laid right out. Fish bit a little bit, but not good enough for us to stick around with a GoPro with no light. Yeah. Like the social media, go by and pick up Deadly Tackle fishing rods at Sunset Provisions starting this week. And we probably put them on the website the next week or so too. So Brian Minty, Lennox, out.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wait.